All right, everybody's starting to fill in now. It's looking good out there. Getting ready to go live with Torque in 3.5 minutes. Coming to you live tonight from Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival. On the scene, Mustafa in the house with us, Rob Nussbaum, Kieran McGarry, so many people from all over the place. Mexico in the house. Good to see all you guys. Hey, I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your engineer tonight for Torque. 60 minutes of exciting conversation about two-wheel performance. Don't go anywhere. We're going live with this one in just 3.5 minutes. Torque Performance. Yeah, Rob, I drove overnight. Amazing what technology does. Hey, we want to hear from you guys. Make sure you hit the like and share button. Throw up your hometown where you're watching from. We want to give you a shout out. It's always good to see you, Mustafa. Thanks for being here with us. Nancy Weems in the house. Torque, let your friends know. We're going live, 2.5. Chopper Town, man, for carrying this feed for us. We appreciate you guys helping us get this out everywhere. It's always a kick to see people coming in from all over the world. I killed most of that pork roll, Kieran. Hey, today we're at a big motorcycle event with our motorcycle people, checking out cool bikes. The Bill Dodge BC Moto Invitational is off the hook. We're going to be bringing you guys live stuff throughout the weekend here. You're not going to want to miss any of this, so keep checking in as we go live. We're going to go around the fairgrounds, bring you all the craziness, but we're down to 1 minute and we're going live. Stand up and get out on the street with this week's installment of Torque Performance. Here we go.
Get here, everything's been fantastic up to this point, other than just a few little technical difficulties, but we're here now, and we've got a really good show for you. How you doing this week, John?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Not bad for a Thursday.
Not bad.
I keep thinking it's Wednesday.
Well, you're welcome. It's almost the end of the week, so so you didn't get to attend this event, but after 13.5 hours of driving, meeting everybody here, this is I think this is the third or the fourth time that this event has happened here, and I was here the last time they did it. There's way more people this time than there was last time. Way more vendors, way more builders, way more people. The BC Moto Invitational is going on. Yours truly is one of the 36 selected builders there, and what they do, I don't know if you've been privy to this or not, John, but what they do is they take one of Miss Loretta Lynn's barns, her horse barns, and it's normally reserved for when they do horse shows and things like that here. And they clean it out and they put motorcycles in there. So we've got there's myself, Xavier Muriel from Providence Cycle Works, Bill Dodge, Hawk Lash. Dude, there is so much talent here. and you don't even get to see everybody. There's so many people. I feel like you drive around and you're constantly missing people. Everybody's got golf carts and mini bikes and all that stuff, but it's fun. So
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. You're gonna have to get your ass to one of these events here pretty soon. You work too much, man.
I know. Well, we got that bike night started. We do bike nights this summer,
Right.
and that's with John Jessup's grand opening last weekend. We were looking at the calendar. We didn't want to overstep anything, so we just ended up doing this weekend for our bike night. So
Yeah, that's a
just
pretty good
scheduled.
point. Like it seems like now that everything's kind of chilling out a little bit and things are opening back up, there are a lot of activations going on around the country, a lot of events, and if this is any, Daytona and then this one, if the amount of attendance that this is up over the last time we were here is any indicator of how well things are going, I would say things are going very well. So.
I agree.
Yeah, so I want to do a couple things. First off, I want to remind everybody we are live this time in the Shineworks mobile studio, and we've got some pretty amazing things to announce later in the show, but I don't want to delay too much because of the itinerary here at the show at the Loretta Lynn's Ranch, the BC Moto Invitational. They're doing a builder kind of an introduction, if you will, and so I just want to go right to our first guest, who really needs no introduction in the performance area. He's been around for a long time. It's a good friend of mine, Boosted Brad Barnes, everybody. Hey, how you doing, Brad?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Good to be alive.
Is this the third time you've been here, or the fourth time you've been here? I'm trying to remember how long they've been doing this.
Man, I've been here every year. I don't remember exactly how many years it's been, but I've been here every year. I was wanting to say it's been 4, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, right. So you're based about 6 hours from here in
No,
Memphis?
from here I'm about 2 hours.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. I kept thinking that Memphis was that much further. I always equate like Tennessee to being pretty easy to drive through when you're going north and south, but east to
Right.
west is a little bit longer, right?
Right.
You start at one
it's
side and move
forever.
way over.
Yeah, we're actually 2 hours north of Memphis, so we're
very
just
good.
straight west of
Okay.
here,
Very
basically
good.
a little northwest. Yeah.
Right on. And you brought the whole family again. That's awesome. I appreciate that you do
Yeah,
that,
it's
man,
always a good event. The kids have a great time running around. It's really a good deal.
Yeah, it's safe, right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
there's nobody. I feel like everybody's kind of looking out for each other. Everybody's really happy to see each other. There's a very different air at this event than there are at a lot of other
definitely,
events, right?
Yeah.
And everything's kind of not subjugated, but kind of like centered around the property here. You've got different areas. Once you get this many people in one space, you kind of have like the crazies at the very back, right?
Right.
And then they've got several bars and lots of really great vendors. They have a lot more vendors this year than
Oh
they
yeah,
had before.
definitely. My son, his favorite thing is the flat track races. They always kind of have like a thrown together deal, hooligan type race.
Right.
Just anybody gets out there and runs. He's been in it every year. So now he's 15 years old. So he's been coming since he was 11 or 12. He gets out there on the flat track on this little dirt bike, and
I thought
last
it
year
was-
he actually won
Yeah.
his little class or whatever. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
no
thought I
shit.
saw him practicing today. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
So he won last year.
Yeah. They just kind of threw it
That's
all
awesome.
ages out, and he was out there on his dirt bike, and he took first. Yeah.
that's parenting done right there.
And he's racing again this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Oh,
looks
that's
forward
awesome.
to this every year, and he's always wanting to upgrade the dirt bike. And of course, we have big plans right after the show, and then we get home, business takes over, everything, life in general, and we haven't quite made those, modifications or whatever. But he's getting out there and getting after it. I mean, with grown-ups,
Right, yeah.
let's go.
No fear, that's good for him.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's parenting done right. This show's also a little different in that, we talked about there are a lot of vendors here this year, but it's not like a Daytona vendor centric kind of thing where people aren't really. I mean, there's some people selling parts in that, but it's more of like, I feel this is like a family reunion kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It has that kind of that
Exactly.
feel to it, right?
Yeah, it's like just a big family gathering, the motorcycle community,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Whether you're glamping, whether you're camping, they have primitive camping. They have swanky upscale glamping,
Right.
right? And then you have people with the campers, and then we're up here. We're up here by one of the outbuildings, and this is a little bit more. It's a little dressier up here. I would
Oh,
say.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
this is CVOville.
Some of these rigs probably cost more than our house.
Oh, I would no, definitely. I've saw some here that are pretty
Yeah,
upscale.
yeah.
You guys have had. I'm just gonna say, you guys have kind of had a shitty run here the last 10 weeks, man. It
Man,
started
it's-
with, of course, can you walk us through kind of, for those that don't know, I'm sure pretty much everybody knows that by now that Booster Brad was involved in an accident. Thankfully, nobody was hurt
Right.
seriously, right?
Right,
Everyone
right.
banged up a little bit. We
Yeah.
can fix motorcycles, we can buy new trucks, buy new trailers, but
Right.
can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we were on our way back from Daytona, and a lady just pulled out in the center lane. We were in the far right-hand lane. She just drifts right over, hits us head on. We had total truck, trailer, $18,000 worth of merchandise, 3 motorcycles, just wiped out. And it was pretty devastating, and I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's done so much for us. I can't even say it enough. John, he was one of them. There's a lot of people, even just sharing stuff in the whole motorcycle community. I mean, we've been overwhelmed, and I've got to have some surgery. I've got some damage, nerve damage in my hand, but we're alive, and that's the main thing. I really thought that we were checking out that day.
We do talk quite a bit about, like we said earlier, it kind of feels a little like a family, right?
Right.
But when something like this happens and you find out that there are people that are willing to step up and kind of not make your business their business, but make sure that you're getting
Right.
you're getting over that threshold out of a negative situation, and then it just seems like the hits keep coming sometimes, right?
Right, yeah. After the wreck, my wife's SUV threw a ride. I bought another truck to get me around till I get a new truck, and it broke down yesterday. Had to get that fixed. My daughter's dog got run over. I'm ready to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, they
ready
say
to
bad
put all
things
that
happen
behind
in
me.
threes, so you're. I think you got the
covered.
3 out of the way.
Right.
Let's talk about your parts line, because you have one of the more popular parts lines, and you take a lot of pride in that. You take a lot of pride in American engineering, American ingenuity, and you have your parts made here in the United States. They're
Right.
coated here, and we saw probably 8-9 months ago you've run into the same issues that everybody in manufacturing does, whether they want to or not. You sometimes have suppliers that don't have your stringent standards in mind, and they don't have your customer's best interest in mind. Sometimes they have their bottom line in mind. What are some of the overcoming barriers to entry that you've had on the parts, and how do you maintain that in when there's such a supply and demand issue right now?
Man, we have been very lucky. My suppliers, they work really, really well with us, and for the most part, I mean, after the accident, it kind of put us behind because we lost so many parts that we had just finished. But the biggest thing is, as the popularity grows, being able to adapt to that and keep up with supply and demand, that's been the hardest part, because like before the wreck, I mean, still to this day, it's just been growing like crazy, and I had never imagined that it would take off like it has, but I'll be honest with you, customer service goes a long way. You just treat people right, you treat them how you want to be treated, you be honest with them, upright. If it's going to be 2 months or you don't have an idea how long it's going to be before you get the parts, you tell them that up front, and for the most part, most people are understanding. I mean, you always have a few out there that's going to be a dick, but for the most part, it's not like that. We just try to be upfront with people and tell them, and it's worked out great. We honestly, we probably get 4 or 5 messages a week or calls about our customer service and how we take care of people and how we treat them, and it's kind of sad. They talk about how it's very unheard of in this industry. They've dealt with so many companies, and we're blown away because we don't feel like we could survive treating people, like crap, basically.
A lot of people, obviously know you. You're known for 3 things, really. You're known for some amazing paint jobs, and if I can get Chris to put, there's a particular bike that you and I both have kind of a very soft spot in our heart for
Right.
The Cody Childress
Right.
FXR, right? We can talk about that bike for a minute.
I
So
love that bike.
And that bike's had several different iterations of it, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, that took a few years to build that bike. Just anybody that knows Cody knows that he's got a real eye for design, and
Right.
he only does things to exacting detail. But he brought it to you, or brought you a new set of tins, and had you paint it, and you did it in kind of what would be the Boosted Brad style, right?
Right.
And so, where does the Boosted Brad style come from, right? Because your influences are Hot Dog, Gene
Winfield.
right?
Mhm.
So you're drawn from. I mean, there's quite a bit of, there's a breadth of distance between their two
Right.
careers, but you've somehow melded that together, and you have your own style.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into the old '70s style paint jobs, choppers. I saw his work, and I mean, I didn't even paint at that time. And I mean, I'd always done a little bit of artwork and things of that sort. But I saw Pete's work, and it just blew me away. And at that time, I couldn't afford. Grew into friends' bikes, and then other people would see it, and on and on and on. And that's kind of how it progressed, And still to this day, I look up to Pete. I highly respect him. In my eyes, he's number one.
Wow. And you have what I could call a decidedly, you've been at this for a long time. You're known for your parts, obviously.
Right.
You're known for your paint. What a lot of people know this, but I don't think they realize it, that you're probably one of do that properly without make it look like it's intended to be
Right.
put back together. And there's a bike in particular that you built that I've never had a chance to talk to you about, and I've got a picture of it in here. It's a red CFL that you did some work on, and it's actually you converted a CFL to a Softail.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that bike and who that was for and how that came about?
Yeah, but he was one of the soldiers in Benghazi.
Okay.
And originally, Greg Westbury took a CFL frame for
There
him.
it is on the screen.
Yeah, completely modified the CFL, made the mono shock. His ironwork business, or he kind of put it to the side. Was kind of getting out of motorcycles. Rex saw my work. He had seen a lot of the CFLs and such in Greg's rack. I forgot how many years Rex said it was. And then the logo that's on the tank, that's actually from his unit. That's what was on their flag. That's their logo.
Okay.
And I'd seen that frame years ago when Greg built it, and I was just ecstatic on wanting to build that bike. And especially after I found out, and Rex didn't even tell me that he was one of the guys in Benghazi. It was one of his friends that told me. He sold on that bike, and I wanted him to be just very, very proud of that bike because of his service that he had, put forth for this country.
And that bike, so you basically, I mean, you can obviously see build. How tough is it to not just want to throw the death metal racing catalog at a bike? I mean, is there?
I don't.
What considerations are you doing? I mean, how does that process work?
In a roller, I'll usually have kind of a general idea of what I want as far as stance and whatever else, and then I'll play with tank designs. I kind of have an idea in my head, but I trash it.
Gotcha. I think John's trying to. I don't have my monitor.
Yeah, I'm trying to hop in here and there.
Yeah. You gotta.
You guys are going on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Brad, congratulations. Like, every killer performance bike out there, not every, but most performance bikes out there either have your risers, your grips. I'm a dealer for you. I grab parts off you.
Yes.
I put them here or there. But Jason, asking the question, like, how don't you throw the catalog at it? I think you should throw the catalog at it,
Thank you. Thank you.
It's our show in Daytona, killer road glide,
Right.
So congratulations as far as that goes.
Thank you.
Do we have the video of the accident in case people haven't seen that?
I didn't include that in what we were doing. I can see if maybe Chris could find that for us, but I don't know. I kind of felt like Like he'd probably seen that one too many times.
Yeah,
But if you haven't
I
seen
doubt
it,
Brad wants to watch it. I doubt Brad wants to watch it again.
no, but it is
But
good.
as
Like
for
no,
the video, the video is unbelievable.
It was
It
pretty
almost
scary,
looks like it was
man.
deliberate.
You know,
Yeah.
it's when that happened, it was literally 2 seconds from the time the lady went from the center turn lane to impact, and in that 2 seconds, all I could think about is I'm going to die. I'm not ever going to see my kids again. They're going to lose both their parents. And you talk about a scary feeling. That was.
I bet.
It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It still gets to me sometimes, you know.
You can't help but put yourself in your shoes, and realize there's no fucking time to do anything.
None. I mean, we were going 35 miles an hour, and you saw the damage that it did at 35 miles. Just think if we had been going 60, a few miles.
that was one of those minutes where I saw the picture of it on Instagram. Nobody had told me anything, and I'm like, your brain goes to, because you didn't. Somebody else post. I saw somebody else's post of it, right? And I was like,
and I was very leery about even posting it, but I knew with all the advertisements on the truck and trailer, that's why I did it. It wasn't for any kind of any publicity or anything like that.
No, that's one of those things where there's no truck to be replaced.
Right. And again, I can't say thank you enough to everybody that stepped up and did what they've done for us. It's amazing. I mean, this community is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It really is. Not only do they can step up and make things happen for people.
Yeah.
How bad were the bikes in the trailer?
One had $8,000 worth of damage, another one had $15,000, and another one had $22,000. Yeah, Daytona before the wreck, or that would have been another one that would have been tangled up in all this insurance mess that we're going through right now. It's still, however long it's been since the wreck, and it's still nowhere near being settled.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's let everybody know that you care about them.
Yep.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the events and stuff, because you make sure that you get out and do your part on that, because these events aren't events like TMMR this year.
And we're definitely want to be a part of that. John's hit us up with.
And so and of course we want to involve you in everything that Torque's doing as well. Right. So because we're going to have our our launch party, and how do you find time to do the shop, the soccer games, the horse shows, the t-ball,
I don't know really. I've got a really good wife that takes care of a lot of that, and I just try to build bikes and supply. We did the interview on Cycle Source a few months ago.
Yep.
I think I said I bought my first Harley 20 years ago. Well, I'm a little senile. It was actually 30 years ago. I forget how old I am, And for so long, get a few hours sleep, right back at it. And I put a lot of work in, and it's starting to pay off. I can breathe a little bit now. You know how it is owning a bike shop.
Yeah.
You're not going to. And I just work, man. I just work. That's
Brad earlier mentioned about you weren't painting at that time.
Right.
I assumed you were a painter that just got into bikes, so I was wrong. How long have you been painting?
Let's say 22 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
That's kind of what led me into this whole deal. I mean, I used to drag race a lot. Me and Jason talked about it. We both were big into the Fox body Mustang scene at the time. That's I had a turbocharged Mustang that I drag raced a lot.
Hence the nickname, right? That's
exactly.
Where you got
That's
the
where
Boosted
the
Brad
Boosted
nickname,
Brad
right?
come from. Yeah, I didn't steal any cars or anything like that. It was, I had to learn to work on it. I didn't have the money, and everything has come from trial and error. I mean, I'm self-taught, every bit of it.
Talking a little bit about drag racing, John. Did you see? I want to have Chris run these videos. We've got 2 videos of you in the 8.
The quickest it run was 690s.
690 in the 8.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah,
that is very fast.
That was in early 2000s. Yeah.
Wow.
Watch the wheel spin on the second video. If you watch the rear wheel spin, you can see it spin quite a bit. And that's on your CFL, right?
Yeah,
That thing's awesome. 124 motor.
Kimmel Johnson headwork, 124 motor, S&S car, bored out, and Yeah, that bike run should ever happen to him.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. You go back and talk about
That's awesome.
talk about the family thing, John, of how this is a family, and we all kind of have our own little family,
Right.
And then, but when it really when push comes to shove, right?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
we come to these events, and this is where we get to spend time together.
Yeah.
We don't get to spend time together on a Tuesday night in
Right.
April, but on a weekend or at a Sturgis or Daytona, those types of things, we get it in.
Yeah,
right? We get it
definitely,
in.
definitely.
Um,
Yes, I have. We're actually finally almost have the FXR destroyer brake arms ready. They're very close. Almost finished with machining. Have a lot of ideas. It's just right now trying to get the product that we are. It's got more machines, and so that's helping out a lot. We found a better anodizer, so things are happening a lot quicker. But yeah, I want to get into more bagger parts than the Dynas. So.
Okay. We've got to go to break real quick, and then when we come back, just hang with us for a few more minutes.
Okay.
We're coming to you live in the Shineworks mobile studio, live from the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Mikkel here from Clockworks. Today I'm going to talk to you about a fantastic cleaning product that we offer called Shineworks. I usually clean it with one side, flip it to the dry side. You'll have no streaks left. But Shineworks is a really great product that cleans and details the entire motorcycle for you. Everybody knows us because of our fantastic Clockworks Flare windshields, but a lot of people didn't know that we also have a great cleaning product. Shineworks is a cleaning product that will clean and lost part as well as the windshield and any chrome you have on the motorcycle. Pick up a bottle at your local dealership, give us a call, order it on getclock.com. You can even find us on Amazon Prime now.
And welcome back to Torque Performance Television. I'm your host, Jason Hallman, live in the mobile Shineworks studio with my co-host, John O'Brien from Hardcore Cycling.
Now,
Ridgely?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my hometown where I was born and raised. We sold the shop in Dyersburg. We're focusing a lot more on the internet business, so it's kind of allowed me to get away from the walk-in work.
Have you been handicapped at all this year with? I don't want to keep going back to the COVID thing, but John and I have this conversation all the time about the problems of being on a day-to-day with the supply and the demand not being where we would like for it to be, right? But you manufacture products, so.
Very fortunate. I mean, we had some issues with some anodizers when COVID hit. I think they lost a lot of their workers and their quality just bottomed out. I mean, it was terrible. And so we found a new entity. They do a lot of aerospace anodizing, so they're very, very strict quality control. And that's been our biggest hurdle, but now we've kind of overcome that. And now it's just trying to get caught back up, get back up to speed with our business. Picked up and went crazy when COVID hit. We were scared, we were worried everything was going to tank. And I guess people were sitting at home working on bikes, getting stimulus checks, whatever, and people were buying parts left and right.
Yeah, that was just it. Brad, we're 90% of our business is in, I want to say 60 days. From Bike Week until now, 90 days, 60 days, getting parts. It's like fucking pulling teeth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Nothing's in stock, nothing's, you know what I mean? Manufacturing your own, all you have.
Yeah. Now, I will say on our quick detach sissy bar systems, the pads, we buy those from another supplier that makes seats and, sissy bar pads, whatever else. And that's been an issue. I did forget about that. We have been back ordered on those things forever. Yeah, and you know, and a big obstacle we've had problems with, and I'm sure John, you have the same thing, is shipping. Man,
April 6th, I'll never forget it. April 6th last year, I had a bunch of high-end parts go out. It was a great day, business-wise, but a lot of it was like overseas, Thailand, and I think Germany. I lost $4,800 for the U.S. Postal Service. Lost $4,800 for the shit in one day. It's New York, you know what I mean? To we're at like someplace like Puerto Rico. I'm like, how's Puerto Rico on the way to Thailand?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was a fucking disaster.
Same.
So what we did was just stop using USPS. We didn't have a choice. It was bad.
Our issue with UPS is a lot of people overseas, we get a lot of this from Canada, they complain about the duties and the brokerage fees, or you go with UPS and get it in a timely manner, but you got to pay a whole lot more money, you know, to get it there.
And I think that complaining about customs and duties to the manufacturer, you know, the supply, and John and I, this is the conversation that John and I have on an almost daily basis, because my shop is a walk-in shop, right? And then I know you still have, like you say, you have walk-in customers, but I'm a bird in the hand kind of guy, right?
Right.
And I don't care where I buy certain ink pens. I know what kind of ink pen I want. I just order it, whether it be Amazon or whether it be touch it, feel it. I'm very tactile, and I like to deal with customers that are tactile and that want that same experience. And John, you and I have this conversation all the time about there's something missing there. It's like you're either one or the other, right? So it's a very different customer experience. And how do you ensure that your customers are happy? How do you guys do that?
I'll let John answer this first.
Yeah, constant communication with people. So it's very difficult, but it's a constant communication. And like Brad was saying earlier, be honest. As much as you know, you tell them, and most of the time they appreciate that, and it works. But you're only as good as like whoever's telling you the information. You got to rely on them. So a lot of the dates. So what we did is our shipping program mimics Amazon. So when they enter their shipping address, whatever zip code is closest to the part is where it comes from. So if they're in New York, it'll come from New York. As like the lead times and that, Brad's right. You got to be honest. You got to tell the truth. You got to tell them what you know. You know what I mean? And like, if we're waiting for shit to come in, stuff comes in. One of them's damaged. It fucks up your whole week.
Exactly.
One of the things and I don't think I am, because I'm not going to name any names, but I know that you've been approached by, we'll just call them large-scale distributors, about scaling your parts line up to meet their demand, right?
Right.
And so, is there a sweet spot in the manufacturing space where you lose control of things like what John's talking about with the supply and the demand, not dive off it, or do you have that kind of in the back of your head that you would like to be that kind of brand at some point in time?
This is something that I've talked to several people in the industry that are in those big name catalogs, and others that could be, that are not. And it's all pretty much based on your particular situation. And mine, for me, I think it's better to stay down low, because once you get to that, your profit, those big companies that handle parts, and they've actually put people out of business because they could not keep up. Their profit margins are so thin, and the supply is so high to try to keep these big companies supplied, that they're constantly just chasing their tail, trying to keep up with demand. And it actually, I'm ready for,
Right. Well, I mean, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can kind of look into that space.
Yeah.
Brad, right now, your popularity, your quality.
Continually, I'll go back and forth on this whole thing. I'll think I'm ready for that step, and then I'm just like, no, I like how it is. I don't want to start. And I see so many companies that they take that step and then they can't keep up with the demand. Well, I am my main machinist several times about this, and he's talked about how much our business has changed his life, and I like that one-on-one talking to somebody. you know, everybody would love the money, but at the same time, I want my sanity. You know, it's
Your sanity, you can't buy that. And so and for people that don't know, you are a trained CNC who you overseeing that.
Right.
You have it's a one-on-one relationship. You're not just jobbing things out. You're not
No.
drawing something on a piece of paper and handing it to, going into the ethos of, you know, open source technology. You have somebody who is. What I'm trying to say is that you understand the engineering speak to where you know building a part from being a machinist, the capabilities that things are out there, so you take that into consideration.
Right.
You're not inventing some crazy thing that doesn't make any sense.
exactly. I mean, my machining background helped me. I draw it out how I want. We go back and forth on designs. I have a couple of guys that I work with, and I used to have a full-time kid that was going to school and learning CAD, and I told him what I wanted, drew it out, whatever. He actually put it in CAD form, whatever. We would send it to the machinist. But for the most part, my guy, he's great. I can tell him what I want, and I, like I said, from the machining background, I used to work for Werks and be way too much money, you know.
Right.
So
That's what I meant.
Right.
Is that, you know, your prices for a part that's made in the United States, designed in the United States, engineered in the United States, coded in the. I mean,
Right.
these parts never leave the country.
no, everything's done inside the United States. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's I mean that's something that, you know, we can all kind of, you know. Well, go ahead.
If someone came to you with an unlimited budget, you know what I mean, and gave you total freedom, what bike would you build? Would it be a chopper? Would it be FXR? Would it be a new M8 Softail? Where would you go with that if someone gave you, you know what I mean?
That's a tough
I
one.
don't want to say bottomless budget, but
I want to build them
would
all,
you
but
do?
I'll be honest, probably a few other people that have the same exact
sure.
design, and I don't want to say what it is, but I really want to get my hands on one of those things, and I have something in my head that I think would be very cool and different, you know.
I haven't. I'm dying to. I was a secret fan of the V-Rod. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I know. I don't
We're
like
done.
fanny pack.
We're done, John.
No,
John.
you know what I mean? But dude, I built a like back in 06 or 07. Dude, I built a club, but it was just a fucking fun. You know what I mean? I'm dying to ride one because the engines are so similar.
Uh-huh. Yep.
You know what I mean? So the next thing I want to get my hands on is an Indian Challenger. That's
Yeah.
what, you know what I mean? I wasn't sure what answer you were going to come back with. That's why I wanted to ask that.
Right. Yeah.
I've argued with Jace Hudson till I'm blue in the face about, on paper, you know, it's pretty tough to argue with 120 horsepower, monocoque frame, Brembo brakes, inverted fork. Talk a lot about, and I want to change gears on you a little bit. What do you think of the BRL, the Bagger Racing League?
I think it's cool. Anything that'll help the industry, draw more people in, I'm all for it. You know, I think it's.
Me and you.
I'm
we
building
could
one right now.
definitely-
Yeah,
dude, I'll go drag racing with you.
Yeah.
I'll go. I was looking at, you know, because my wife is like, you know my wife, and,
Right.
and she came to me a couple times. She goes, every time I see that commercial that you guys run, she goes, I don't know, I think it's so cool, and I'm like, well, she's never said anything, you know, like, even remotely like that. But she wants to go. We're going to go. Torque Magazine's going to go to BRL in Salt Lake City, and she wants to go to that.
Yeah.
When those bikes are out on the course, that everybody's lining the fence, and that's what they want to see, because
Right.
it's such an anomaly. And we interviewed in our first show, we interviewed 2 Team Saddlemen riders, and they said those bikes are not that far off.
Really?
In time wise, in some of the you know the sport bikes,
Wow.
right? And so I really think that this is going to be something that's going to stick around for a while. They're starting the sportsman classes. They're getting these bikes down to 548 pounds or something. Somebody
Jeez.
said, and
Yeah, definitely.
so
Jason.
what? Yeah, go ahead.
If your old lady's turned on by fast bikes, I'd move a little bit quicker on that Dyna project.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it. You're doing this
Yeah,
with
man.
us, man. This is really awesome.
Thank you,
can
guys.
We can see you on Instagram at Boosted Brad. You also have a Death Metal Racing Parts or Death
Right.
Metal Parts. What is
Death
it?
Metal Racing.
Death
yeah.
Metal Racing.
So-
Yeah, right. So I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank
tonight.
you guys
This is
for having
really
us.
awesome. And anything else we can do to help you plug your brand?
Man, no, you guys are sick of hearing it, but I'm just so appreciative for everything everybody has done.
And we give a shout out to Nothing Stock Cam too for stepping up
Yes.
right at the
Big
right
shout
on
out
the
to
front.
Cam.
Yeah,
Yes.
Big Cam, we love him. So well, I appreciate it. We're
Yes,
gonna go to right now. We're gonna go to a commercial break, and
All right, take it easy.
We're ready to race. What's your strategy? Go fast.
The Fueling name has been associated with racing and high-performance engines since 1974, when founder Jim Fueling started fueling the flame. Look for the Flying Pig to run up front this year with pilot Ben Bostrom. Fueling. No bullshit, just performance.
Television, and my co-host, the ever-present and magnanimous John O'Brien. That was a pretty good interview with Brad, don't you think?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He's a good dude.
He really is. At the West Coast Choppers, they used to have these private parties, and we used to go there once a year, and that's where
I never heard of that until I met you.
Really? I don't know.
Honest to God.
I don't know how that got by.
How
How did that get by? Were you ever into like the chopper scene, or were you always into?
I was. I had. Do you remember Lucky Charm choppers?
I very well, yes.
05 maybe 06.
Yeah, that'd be around
Maybe
right time.
early.
I would like to have.
No, maybe
I was just
no,
saying,
maybe a little bit before that.
It had to be like 03 or 04. So one of these days, I fancy myself. My wife calls me a hoarder, but I fancy myself. Billy has this giant diamond plate neon thing that says Choppers Inc. on it, and he's only got one of them, and it was in his store in Daytona until recently. I think he brought it up here to his shop in Franklin. But Mount Custom Cycles dealer signs, and I would love to. I've tried to get one of those. I've tried to score one of those, but the dudes over at Lucky Charms used to have the baddest like neon thing that said Lucky Charm Choppers. And I would like to have a museum at some point in time for chopper stuff. Just kind of like, there's a lot of little different pieces and parts of the motorcycle era going all the way back as far as it can. But if I was to do something, I would want it to be specifically centered on choppers from the late 90s through about 5 years ago. I mean, that to me, that's the sweet spot. I think Indian Larry was quoted as saying one time there was more chopper builders than there were chopper riders in the business. But we've got some really good news.
He's probably right there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I wanted to, and I know we've talked a little bit about this, but we want to welcome some new brands to the Torque Performance Television, and we also are going to be supported by Saddlemen. So we're looking forward to working with these folks, and we've got some other really cool stuff going on.
If you think about it, both those brands, we can't really.
Why we had to make sure that and to be honest with you, they kind of understood that right on the jump, right? And so we appreciate that they've signed on with us, and we're looking forward to a long and happy union there. tell
Yep.
everybody again, give them some details about that so that we make sure that we start getting everybody circling the wagons to be at that show.
We got best FXR, best sporty, best Indian, best V-Rod, best of show. The best of show, we're doing something a little, I think I mentioned this before. We're giving away an FXR frame, a titled FXR frame to the best of show winner.
And then we're going to encourage that whoever that individual is, he or she,
I
build
want to
that
see
bike.
that at one of our future shows.
And then
bagger build off. 08 and earlier bagger, $15,000 cap on the budget, including the bike. And it's just a good time. I mean, I have
a little idea in my head, and he said he's building one. So I think I'm going to have to do that. I think it is time for my favorite segment, From the Gram. So we've got 4 fantastic videos here. We're going to let Chris. John, you're going to have to give me play-by-play here. My monitor's got a delay on it.
Okay. Whoa. Yep. And then mousetrapped. There he goes. He almost saved it.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, buddy.
Yeah. He almost saved it. Any idea who the rider was?
It was who's the
Sea
Bear. It was off of Sea Bear's page. Yeah, I kept wanting to say shit down Steve. I think I stole 2 off of his gram this week. So it's the second.
Dude, his page is awesome.
It is really awesome. I don't know if I could ride with him though. This is at Chuckwalla.
Look at this.
Yeah, this is him riding in full leathers at Chuckwalla, doing the wheelie all around the track. This thing is awesome.
All around the track.
These guys, the control that they exhibit and demonstrate is
one day going around, like, so we were heading south into Daytona. They were coming out of it, and we were behind. There was like the Yeah Brother guys. There was tassels, and lowered soft tails, and I was just like stuck behind this fucking crew of guys, and see the dudes in front of us ducked. Like I don't know what they thought was coming at them or what, because they were wheeling and shit coming the other direction. The guys in front of us literally ducked. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
That's fantastic. What do we got? I think we got 2 more here. We got 2 funny ones.
Dude, I just have I have to preface this by saying you guys made my week with this next one. You really
did? Good.
Yeah, I needed.
Did you see how he hits the ground and then pops right back up and then hits again? I mean, look at when he goes down. When he goes down, he pops right back up. This one was hysterical. Boosh.
Yeah.
You just my body's not meant to hit the ground anymore like that, John.
No, not that hard.
Right. So do we have one more, Chris? Yeah, here we go. This thing, the level of ridership, the hate, the vitriol and hate that I've seen online about like this not being something that has the ability of closed-minded. These guys, I mean, first off, a lot of these people are professional motorcycle racers that they're putting on these bikes. They don't have the kind of seat time available because this is all so new. And everybody that gets on these bikes is pushing these things to the absolute limit, and it's still a stock frame bagger. And some of them, I have it on good authority that the Indian that won back at Laguna Seca, I think it was, the engine hadn't even, not a case on the engine had been cracked. So there's a lot of potential here for waned in the last few years. Not that there's not talented engine builders out there, but it's been such a bolt-on thing, even on the inside of the engine, right?
It's leveled off.
Yeah.
Something needs to. Yeah, I agree. Something needs to. There needs to be a game.
Engines and getting things moving up. So, well, John, we did it. We did our first live broadcast from a remote. Yeah. So, we're here. What do we got, Chris? Hey, I'm Jason Hallman for Torque Performance Television, and this is our new product showcase. And this week, I've got 2 products from Trask Performance. The first one is Trask Performance new Billet M8 cam cover with a see-through window. And this thing's got a beautiful, durable gloss black finish. Looks like, or you can show off that new cam plate you bought from Puling or S&S. They also have a fitment for the old standby, the twin cam, one of my favorite engines. These are available at all drag specialties dealers, and they retail somewhere in the $400 range. You can get more information online at trashperformance.com or by visiting. That's a pretty good. That was a pretty good new product feature. And here's what happened with that. My drag rep came in, and he's always got something in his backpack, and he pulled these two things out, and they were wrapped up in not the terry. And he's like, yeah, and I went up in the front, and I set the camera up real quick and did a quick little new product feature.
Yeah, I have those on. We have a Shop Road King that we did up. We got the trash covers, we got the legend suspension. You know what I mean? So we did the cam cover.
Stuff off, especially with the anodizing that the S&S does the blue and Fueling does the red, and they've got that one green one that they did as well. So,
and then the Barnett orange.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The Scorpion side cover, at this year's Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival event. I want to thank Bill Dodge for the BC Moto Invitational, for inviting me and inviting all 36 of the builders. There's still plenty of time to get here if you're
no. Carrie's good people. She works with us on our Daytona show.
Yeah, and I've known her in Buck for going on real close to 20 years, and when it comes to events and putting on quality activations, like it seemed like there was a drought there for a few years, but I think we're back up to full speed.
Yeah.
And most of these events, they're feeling like 2006, 2007 again. So I'm looking forward to that. So we are live with Torque and myself. I bid you a good evening, and thanks for watching.
Take it easy, guys. We'll talk to you next week.